is Monique. Welcome to One Mo Project. Today I'm going to show you how I made a baby swing from some old blue jeans. Now it came out really cute, even though I did have some struggles with where the pockets were going to go. Because you know, every baby swing needs pockets. And the instructions that I found made it in 3 separate pieces. I made a second one and made it just one big piece, and I think that was a whole lot easier. Anyway, I'll show you what I did. So I'm cutting up these old jeans. They're in pretty good shape, especially for some that a boy wore. You know, look, the knees aren't even full of holes. Anyway, the goal here was to end up with 3 pieces. One that's 36 by 12, one that's 12 by 11, and one that's 6.5 by 11. But I couldn't get that big piece, the 36 by 12, out of the jean, so I had to sew it together. I used the outside of the leg there because, the inside of the leg, because I wanted that flat felled seam to go up the sides. Also wanted, when I folded it over at the top to hem it, to have that hem that was on the bottom of the jean. So I'm going to have to sew that piece together. But the other 2 pieces I was able to get. Before I cut this one, I cut off the pockets because I wanted to put the pockets on there, on the side, because I think that'll be fun. Turns out it was just a lot of work, but it's cute, so why not? But I cut all the pockets off before I cut that next piece so I wouldn't accidentally cut through the pocket. That's the only smart thing I did with those pockets. But then I was able to get my other piece. There's my skinny piece, my 6.5 by 11. And then to get the last piece, the 12 by 11, I had to go to a second pair of jeans. But remember, these are jeans that people walked away from, that they didn't want them anymore and they left them to me. So I can cut them up if I want to. So, and then that piece will make the back. The long piece goes from one side around to the other side. The skinny piece goes up the front. And then the 12 by 11, the nearly square piece, makes the back. Sewing across this denim, I went slow across the seams there because that's a lot of layers of fabric all built up there together. And then before I did the mock flat felt, I cut out as much of that as I could to reduce the amount that it had to sew through. There's a reason they make sewing machines that are kind of designed to be used with denim. This is not one of them. This one's an embroidery machine, so we don't want to destroy it sewing on denim. So went slow across there. So there's my pieces. And I also have batting. I have 2 layers of batting on the big piece and then some red for the lining that's the same size. So because I wanted the pockets, I was real careful and I pinned it all on so that I could sew around it. I sewed pretty much on top of the pocket to go around it, but at the top I left some of the fabric that it had been sewn through, because if you sew across the top of the pocket, now it's a patch. I didn't want a patch. I wanted a pocket. I have no idea that we'll ever put anything in these pockets, but I thought it would be so cute. So I worked hard to get that pinned on there and to get it straight and to sew around it so that I could have a cute little pocket on the front. This is the little watch pocket. Once I get that all sewn on there, so adorable, then I'm going to put the pockets on the sides. Problem is, I hadn't really measured everything, and so I was sort of estimating where I thought these pockets were going to need to be on either side so that they came up, you know, on the side of the swing. And I guessed wrong. So I pin them on there and get it all figured out and sew them on there, and they're not where they need to be. It's not the end of the world. It just means, have to go backwards sometimes. But here again, the same thing that I sewed on top of the pocket around the 3 sides. But on the top, I left the fabric that was the jeans and sewed across just a little hemmed over piece of that fabric so that it wasn't a patch. It's a real pocket to never be used. So I made this from scraps. So I had some batting that's kind of a thin cotton batting, but I also put a little bit of another polyester kind of batting inside of it. Because this is the part where his cute little bottom's going to be, and I didn't want it to be uncomfortable. What do I know? He's a baby. He's going to be fine, but I want it to be soft enough, especially where it wrapped around the bars at the top so that he didn't conk his little head. So far, so good. No head conks yet to speak of. Anyway, so I sewed this like a tube because I want to use the hem that was the bottom of the pants to be the hem on the swing. So I made just a tube and turned it right sides out. And then I sewed across right there across the middle of it to hold all that in place a little bit before I moved on to the next piece. See how I rolled it up to make it fit inside the sewing machine? Clip that. Okay. Set that aside. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the back. This is the back. It's the 11 by 12 piece. I'm going to sew 3 sides and leave the hemmed side from the jeans to be the fold over part. And then I'll do the little skinny part that makes the front. Same thing with that pocket. I was just guessing at where it should be. Yeah, I didn't guess right on that one either. This one's going to sew on 3 sides, not just a tube. I'm going to go down, across, and back up, leaving the hemmed edge unsewn, and that makes it easy to turn because you have an unsewn edge. But then I'll use that to fold over and make the casing to go through the dowel rods when it's all done. Be sure and trim my corners so that they can be nice and sharp. I have a turner tool. Still though, I like these chopsticks. They just work well for me. Alright, last piece, same kind of thing. Sew around it, 3 sides. It does not have a hemmed edge already nice and cute on it like the other pieces do, but it's, you know, it's a swing for a baby. It's going to be fine. It just doesn't have that one tiny little cute detail. But I did just sew the 3 sides and trim my corners so that it made it easy to turn, because that top edge is going to be folded over around the dowel. So now to construct it. First thing I did, no, am I not constructing? I am top stitching around all of the pieces to help hold that red inside and the blue on the outside. I didn't want funny little lines shown if I could help it. There, I sewed up the middle. That is the back piece. And then now for the assembly. Measure. I did measure. I don't always do a good job of measuring. I did measure. But the instructions that I found at the website that I used, this is how they did it. Instead of making it one big sort of T sort of shape, they made it in these separate pieces and then sewed them together. And in the end, I don't prefer this method. I think the one I made that you'll see at the end that's plaid, where I just made this T-shaped thing, really worked out better. Oh, I think I broke a needle or something. Scared I broke a needle. That's a lot of layers to sew through. Anyway, so that is sewing the back onto the bottom and the sides. The long piece is the bottom and the sides. But because of the way it's done, a little bit of the red does show out the back where that seam is. It's not terrible, especially since, you know, who's looking at the back of the string? They're looking at the cute baby. But I don't love the way that worked out. And then this one did better, but it's the same idea that you have all of this already put together and then sew the pieces together instead of making it one big piece. There might be some strength to it that I didn't understand, but I don't know. It's very cute. So then I get all of that put together and I top stitched around all the edges. I kind of waited to do some of them so that I could just go across at once and not have to keep going back and across all of those thick layers. But I top stitched all the way around on it so that it didn't walk around. And then it came out pretty cute. I did double stitch at the front and the back where they were just piled on top of each other for the way it was sewn. But there's the basic thing. It looks cute. We'll keep working. So now I have my handy assistant out in the backyard using some power tools. This is 1-inch dowel, and see how he makes the line there? If you're doing your own, watch out for the kerf. That is the part that goes away when you cut it. If you don't have a drill press and you're trying to do this with just a hand drill, good luck to you. The drill press really helped to be able to make this so that the holes on each end of each dowel are in line with each other. And then look, work out the power sander to kind of chamfer the ends a little bit and to make sure it's smooth where we drilled through it. So those came out really nice. Okay, now here's the fun thing. Now that I have those dowels, it takes 4, but I made 2, so we had 8. So I folded this over and measured and got all that right, and then I'm going to backstitch there to the edge a couple times to reinforce it, and then sew across and be careful there in the middle because there's so much bulk of all of those layers. And then when I get to the other side, I'll backstitch a little bit to help keep that more secure. And then watch this. Look at this. Watch, watch, watch. Look. Aw, no. It sewed across the pocket. Remember that thing about I didn't want a patch? Yeah. Now I have a patch. Well, I have a tiny little pocket. That's not what I want. So, trusty seam ripper. And I'm taking the pocket off because it's in the wrong place. It's too high. So I took off both of those big pockets. And now I'm going to go back and fix that seam that I took out because it had a hole in it from taking off the pocket. Ah, there we go. And then the other side, same thing. Fold it over, sew it. But this time, the pocket's already out of the way. This is the back here. It gets folded over. Since it didn't have a pocket on it, it's the only one that I didn't have to take the pocket off because the other three sides all had the pockets on them. And unfortunately, all three of them were in the wrong place. And look, that's my old sewing machine. I got that sewing machine when I was in high school. And let's just say that was a long time ago. So when you make this, though, the front and the back were about an inch shorter than the sides. And that's because of the way they stack up on the corner. Oh, there I am. Noticing that I have to take off that pocket, too. I didn't sew it first, but I had to take it off and then sew it and then put the pocket back on. Anyway, it came out fine. It was just annoying that I didn't do my homework in the beginning and know that where I needed to put those pockets. And so I had to take them all off. They're okay now. So I've had this machine, like I said, since high school. And look, it slides around when I use it. I guess I should redo something to the feet. I don't know. It slides around sometimes when I'm using it, but it works. It works great. It's just, it's kind of yellow and weird. Anyway, so all 4 of the dowel rods now fit into their spaces. And the links, I'm double checking that when they're done, they're right. And look, now it's time to put my pockets back on. The little watch pocket there in the front so that we can put nothing in it. I don't know why I pinned it so much. I think I was afraid of that little pocket. I don't know. I did have to fold up the bottom edge. I didn't have to. I did. I made a little hem on the bottom because it wasn't finished. And I left the little part sticking out to sew it through so that it's a pocket, not a patch. So cute little pocket for the front. And then the back pockets on the side so that we have 2 more pockets to never put anything in. I don't know. Next time I use it, I'm put something in it just because I went to so much trouble to put these cute little pockets on there. But it makes it more like it's old jeans because of the pockets instead of just denim. If it was just going to be denim, this really would have been too much work to do it this way. So I had to do the pockets, especially once I'd taken them off. I had to put them back on. All right, so see how that's working out? How it makes this tee with 3 sides with pockets and 1 side without a pocket. And then the red lining and the batting. Anyway, cute, cute, cute when it's done. Just took a long way to get done. All right, and so then all the dowel rods fit in there nicely. And then I have this rope that I bought at REI. If you have an REI in your city, that's good. If not, you can order this online. This is climbing rope. I don't know if it was necessary to have something this heavy duty, but, I'm putting my grandson in it. I don't want him to fall out. So I tied it through both. It goes through the side one above the front and back because it's longer. And then I tied a knot there. And then I found the middle and tied just 1 overhand knot so that we could clip it onto some carabiners outside on the swing set. So there it is. So cute. See who's looking at the pockets when there's that baby. Aw. And here he is in the one that's plaid that was a lot easier to make.
Thanks for watching. Maybe that was useful. Maybe if you make a baby swing from some old blue jeans, you won't struggle to get the pockets in just the right place. Or maybe you'll just make it out of 1 solid piece instead of 3 different pieces, and it'll just be fantastic and easy. Anyway, remember, blessed are the people of whom this is true. Blessed are the people whose God is the Lord. See you next time.
You ready? You ready?